Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the fifth. Today is Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. Yes, it is the 11th. It's a one and a one. I remember just to start a story because it just came to my mind. When I taught in the classroom at 11:11, I always had a student that would say, Dr. Sandy, it's 11:11. And then we would all stop and pause and take a moment of silence for whatever reason. He started it. It was pretty cool. So, we just started doing it. So it's not 11:11. It's actually only 8:11. Actually, it's 8:21. But that just made me think of the 11:11 story on the so anyway, welcome to the fifth tonight. Um Tonight's episode is called You Can't Pour from an empty cup, an empty heart, an empty mind, empty feelings. You just can't pour from empty. So, if this is something, before I go any further into this podcast, something that resonates with you or something that resonates with somebody else, I want you to like the fifth. I want you to subscribe to the fifth. And I want you to share. All right. Like, subscribe, and share. Share, like, subscribe, like, share. And whatever you want to do it, ever order you want to do it. At the end of the day, I just want you to subscribe and like, and let's go. Let's get more people into the fifth. So let's get into this conversation of you can't pour from empty. Why? Why talk about you can't pour from empty? Because so many times you find yourself wanting to give to others and you don't even have anything to give to yourself, right? It could be that you don't have love and you're trying to give love to somebody else. If you've ever been in a situation like that, you know that that doesn't even work, right? It is impossible to love somebody else if you don't love yourself. You might do a version of love. You might give from a version of what you think is love. But I can tell you that it's not going to last, right? Because it's a show. You're putting on a show and you're pouring and getting this energy or whatever you're giving from somewhere that hasn't even been replenished. All right. So many times you make time for everyone else and give them what they need, and you forget the most important thing. You really have to stop and ask yourself the most important question: what do I need? And I'm going to pause for a second because I really want you to think about, do you even know what you need? Do you? You think you know what everybody else need, but do you really know what you need? Do you understand the places in your heart, in your soul, in your mind, in your body where you're empty? Do you understand what it takes for you to keep replenishing your spirit, right? And you're going through each day and you want to give to somebody else and you don't even know how to give to yourself. You have to learn to pour into yourself. And that's a hard thing for a lot of people. It's a hard thing for a lot of parents. It's a hard thing for a lot of people that have spouses or significant others, is to learn how to pour into themselves. Because when you pour into yourselves, you can almost feel like you're neglecting somebody else. You can almost feel like if you pour into yourself that you're being selfish, right? But at the end of the day, when you're pouring into somebody else so much from a place where you don't have anything, what you're really saying is, I am honestly okay with neglecting myself. So here's my question to you. If you are so concerned about neglecting somebody else, Why are you not that concerned about neglecting yourself? Why do you find it robbery for you to pour into yourself? Right? So many people walk around drained from working at a job, walk around drained from just giving so much to your children. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying don't give to your kids. What I'm saying is that you have to be whole. You have to have energy. You have to be able to feel good from within your soul for you to even be able to give to your children, for you to be able to love your children. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're in a place where you find yourself, you just snap. You snap at your kids, you yell at your kids, you snap at this person, you yell at that person, and then you don't even know why you're behaving this way. I can tell you, you're tired. You're absolutely tired. When babies get tired and hungry, you know what they do? They cry and they fuss. And you think just because you're not crying and fussing and you're pushing through day by day that you're okay. But you don't even realize the little things that you do that could actually hurt somebody's feelings, not because you're intentionally doing it, but because you're coming from a place of being tired, because you keep forgetting to get to a place of learning what it means to pour into yourself, right? And when you talk about pouring into yourself, it could be something as simple as taking a walk, something as simple as taking yourself to get your nails done if you're a female, taking yourself if you're a guy to get a nice haircut and freshen up. It could be something as simple as sitting outside on your patio or sitting by the beach or sitting by a park and reading a good book. It doesn't mean that you need some water. It doesn't mean if you're from the South, I guess, that you need some sweet tea. You know, that sweet tea is really sweet. You're doing more than replenishing your spirit. I can tell you that. You feel it on some other stuff too. But I'm not talking about drinking because you're thirsty. In a sense, you are. I'm just talking about filling yourself with the energy and the things that you need to prioritize for you to continue to keep going. Not for anybody else, but for you, right? Not for anybody else, but for you. So I'm going to take about 10 seconds, 10 seconds, and I'm going to give you the space because a lot of people do not allow themselves the space to replenish your spirit, replenish your mind, replenish your soul, replenish your thoughts, right? So I'm going to take about 10 seconds and I just want you to sit in silence with me. I'm a life coach. Silence does not bother me. And I want you to think to yourself or ask yourself this question: what do I need? I'm asking you, what do you need? I hope that you took the time to think. I hope that you took the time. It's just 10 seconds, and I'm not going to sit here for 30 because then by 30 seconds, you're not going to like, subscribe, or share. You're going to log off. All right. But just 10 seconds. It's a prompt. Okay. And it can be the journey to something that you start. Matter of fact, take about 30 minutes to yourself every evening if you don't already do it besides that, and just ask yourself, what do I need before I settle down for the evening, close my eyes to go to bed? What do I need? All right, because what you're really focusing on is self-care versus self-preservation. Okay? Ask yourself, what do you need? Self care is really just taking care of your well being, taking care of yourself physically, taking care of yourself emotionally, taking care of yourself probably even socially. It's just asking yourself, what do I need for me to feel like I am able, number one, to even have a good night's rest? Because whether or not you know it, when you don't take the time to just pour into yourself, you can really just not sleep well because your mind is constantly racing. Your body is not at ease. right? So whether or not you realize it, like not learning how to pour into yourself can really affect you. Ha! I'm going to the comments. Hey, my girl Ali G is on the line. She said, "Not the sweet tea, girl, not the sweet tea." She said she gonna save it tonight. Yes, girl, the sweet tea. That sweet tea is sweet and it feels good in the moment. But Lord knows what happens if you keep consuming the sweet tea. All right. So do me a favor, and learn to pour into yourself. You know why? Because self-care is necessary. But let me back up a minute and talk about self-care versus self-preservation. So self care is giving yourself what you need, taking care of yourself, exactly what it says, taking care of yourself. All right. And then self preservation is just protecting yourself. While the two of them might sound the same, they're very different, but they can also go hand in hand, right? Because if you are taking care of yourself and taking the time to treat your body right, treat your mind right, then you are also preserving yourself, right? And I don't have to go too deep into it because not taking care of yourself can lead to a whole lot of other issues, right? It can lead to a lot of health issues. It can lead to a lot of physical ailments. It can lead to a lot of mental instability. It's just uncomfortable to not take care of yourself. And it's also uncomfortable to not protect yourself. Okay, now I'm going to jump into a quick conversation when I talk about self care and self preservation for the people that are taking care of other people and feels like they cannot turn off the switch to take and steal away time for yourself. All right, here's the thing, and I'm going back a little bit because I want to touch on this for a little minute. You cannot expect to treat your significant other, treat your family, treat your friends with the utmost respect and love with consistency. The key word for me is consistency if you're not going to pour into yourself. There are some people that will make you feel guilty for doing it, but you have to do it. There are so many people in the world that go through life, and I'm going to go and bounce around this always. I don't just talk about relationships. I'm talking about your friendships. I'm talking about your situationships. I'm talking about even those relationships that you build at work. All right. You're at a job, you're in a relationship, you have a friend, and then all of a sudden things go south. Why? Because I'm doing for this friend and this friend is not doing for me. And most of the time, you're doing it not to get anything in return. I'm doing for my husband, or I'm doing for my wife, I'm doing for my girlfriend, I'm doing for my boyfriend, and they're not giving me, in for lack of better terms, like we say these days, they're not giving me the same energy that I'm giving them. Now, you can sit there and say, I'm not doing it to get anything in return. Yes, because I say the same thing too. But when you are constantly pouring into somebody else, it's inevitable that if they're not giving you the same energy back, you're going to feel it. And you're not going to be able to pour into them consistently like you've been doing because they're not giving it back, which is why you need to stop and take that time and learn how to pour into yourself. Another way to say that is to learn what it means to find your own happiness. Learn how to be happy by yourself. I'm not saying be by yourself. I'm saying learn what it takes for you to make you happy. All right. Learn what it means for you to be able to make yourself happy because self care is necessary. Self preservation is necessary. When is self care necessary? When does it become very, very necessary? Plain and simple. When you feel like you're losing yourself, when you feel like you just become so forgetful, nothing seems to make sense. All right. Where you think you put something is not where it's at because you didn't put it there in the first place. All right. I can tell you about me, and I'm talking about me. Okay. So, true story, short story. I was at work today. Number one, I didn't go to sleep until about 2 o'clock in the morning. because I did the thing that I don't do, and I had to work from home because there's things to be done and it's not enough time in the day. Okay, so I'm working from home. I'm going to bed almost 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm at work all morning. I have one meeting. I have two meetings. All right, I get it. Now I have to leave to go to another meeting, and I'm searching my office for keys. I'm looking on the table, I'm looking at my computer. I'm looking by my windowsill. I'm just all over this office. And I'm just like, there is no way that this office that is clean and does not have a lot of clutter, I cannot find my keys. Sure enough, one of my colleagues come in and they're like, Sandy, are you sure you had your keys? And I'm like, yeah, it was tucked in my book bag. That's where I put it, so I know where to find it. And then she goes to my chair and shakes my jacket. And the whole time, my key has been in the jacket. But in my mind, I knew for a fact, not 100, not 200, 1,000%, that my keys were hanging on that book bag. And I looked for it for about 10 minutes. Like I'm running to the point where I might be late to the next meeting because I got to drive like 10 minutes down the street to get to this other school. Tired. I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning. My body felt good and I'm moving through a day like I'm good. But that was a sign for me that mentally, I am not completely replenished. It was that simple. Like I had no clue that I never took the keys out of a pocket of a jacket that I shouldn't even had on in the first place because it's hot, it's summer, it's 80 something degrees in the morning. So I don't even know why I got a jacket. Matter of fact, that was my punishment. Should have never had the jacket on. But yeah, I'm tired because I couldn't think about it. So anyway, that was me in a nutshell. I couldn't find it. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was pouring, reading emails, pouring into meetings, pouring into everybody else, giving advice, giving my opinion, looking through a lens that I thought was crystal clear because it looked like it. But deep down inside, I was tired. It was shady. It was blurry. And I couldn't see it. And that's how easy it is to continue to just give and give and give and give of yourself before you even realize that you don't have enough to give. All right. So that leads me to say this: stop giving what you don't have. Stop giving what you don't have. And the only way that you recognize that is with honesty. Be true to yourself. Be honest to yourself. Okay. Be honest with yourself. One of the biggest places that you need to be honest with yourself is if you are on the verge of going through a tumultuous time in your life, a hard friendship, a hard relationship, a hard situationship. You need to be honest and you need to stop and take time to yourself. It is one of the hardest things to do because you are mentally drained and you're thinking about the person that wants to leave, the relationship that's ending, the friendship that betrayed you. And it's hard for you to just stop and say to yourself, what do I need to do for me in this situation right now to prevent myself from going loco? Because it will drive you crazy because you are trying to think for somebody else what they're going to say, what they're going to do, where they're going to go, why they're doing it. And you cannot answer those questions. You can only answer those questions about yourself. What are you going to do, where you're going to go, how you're going to do it, and why you're doing it. That's all. One of the hardest places and times to replenish yourself is when you are going through a hard time that has been put on you by someone else. You have to be able to stop. Because what it does is, when I talk about that self-preservation and that self-care, that's what it does. It allows you to maintain a sense of clarity. Not clarity for you to be able to deal with that person only, but clarity for you to also be able to deal with yourself. Because you can really find yourself down a rabbit hole if you are not careful about having self-preservation when you're going through a rough time. Even in times where you may have lost someone. You lost somebody dear to you. That is a time where you can actually find that you're losing yourself. Okay. So you have to be able to understand I can't give what I don't have. You matter, and you have to matter to yourself. And as much as other people matter to you, and as much as you think that you matter to somebody else, you also have to take the time to understand that you matter too. You matter too. What you do matters. How you show up in this world matters. How you show up for yourself definitely matters. All right. So you have to be able to recognize when you are emotionally depleted. Recognize when you're depleted and just stop and just take a break. Because I can tell you right now, it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse because you don't have anything that you have to give to yourself. Therefore, you can't give to anybody else. Right? If you're going to say to somebody else, what you said to me, I didn't like it, but I understand that you're having a hard time. What you did to me, it really hurt my feelings, but I understand that you're tired. I know you didn't mean to go that place and leave me out, but I understand you had to do what you had to do. Here's a news flash I have for you. If you're going to give grace to somebody else, how about you stop and give that same grace to yourself? Let me say that again. Give yourself the same grace that you are willing to give somebody else. Give yourself that grace. Stop feeling guilty for taking care of you. Stop feeling guilty for just taking some time for yourself and learning how to tell people no. Whether it's a child or a coworker or whoever it is. If you are constantly being a yes man and being a yes woman, and then you walk away and then be like, I really wish that I hadn't said yes. I really wish that I didn't go. All because you're concerned about hurting somebody else's feelings. Give yourself the same grace that you are willing to give somebody else. All right? Do that. You deserve to treat yourself with that kindness. You deserve to treat yourself with that love because you can't pour from empty. You just can't. It doesn't work. All right? And I don't want to be morbid. You know what I'm saying? But when you're here and you leave this earth because you didn't take care of yourself, there's nothing you can give to anybody else. Your memories, yes, they're going to go on, but you don't have anything to give to anybody else. So understand that pouring into yourself is not being selfish. It's not selfish at all. It allows you to authentically show up. It allows you to show up as your best self, your true self, your honest self. To give great answers, good answers, honest answers, clear answers, answers with integrity. All right? Because you don't want to say things that you can't take back. So you're not selfish and you shouldn't feel guilty when you stop and take time for yourself. All right? Pour into yourself. Don't say it's selfish. Don't say, I'm sorry that I couldn't be here for you because I was taking care of myself. You're not selfish at all for you needing to be filled. Just because you're deciding that you want to fill yourself up, it's not you being selfish. All right? You cannot continue to give from a place that's being neglected. And it's not being neglected by somebody else. It's you neglecting yourself. You cannot give from a place where you are being neglected, where you are neglecting yourself. Okay? So remember this self-care versus self-preservation. What are you doing for yourself to support your well-being? What are you doing for yourself to protect yourself? All right? Sometimes the most loving thing that you can do for yourself and everyone else around you is to just stop pouring and allow someone and somebody else to pour into you. That is, like I said, sometimes the most loving thing that you can do for yourself and for everybody else around you is to just stop pouring. Just stop, stand still, and just be. Allow someone else to pour into you. It's not cocky, it's not arrogant, it's about me and not about you. It's just that you recognize that I'm drained, I'm depleted, I don't have anything else to give. Because I'm giving and I'm giving and I'm giving. And although I say I'm not doing it for anything else in return, it's not a good feeling. It feels really good when somebody does something for you. That same feeling that you have when you do something for somebody else, it's the same feeling you have when somebody does something for you. You can have the biggest heart. And when somebody does something for you, it feels amazing, especially if you know they're doing it from a place of love and a place of just being gratitude to the gracious to the person that you are, just being thankful to the person that you are. And in return, they're also doing something for you with nothing in return. So I'm not saying go seek to be poured into. I'm just saying recognize that you cannot continue to pour into other people and not allow yourself to stop and be poured into. Okay? When your children are willing to give you the time to take a break, to go spend time with their dad or go spend time with their mom, or just give y'all time to go on a date, or give y'all time to just be together uninterrupted, that is a gift. That is your children pouring into you unknowingly. You go get a mani or a pedi. Like I said earlier, guys go get a nice haircut. Go wash the car. Just have that me time to themselves. You're doing yourself such a favor by pouring into you. Doing something that you love to do. Taking the time to spend time with your friends. Just hanging out and laughing. Having a good time. You're pouring into yourself. You are practicing self-care. Okay? So as you go through your days, you go through your life, whatever job that you're doing, some jobs are easy and it takes nothing out of you. It doesn't mean that you still cannot feel depleted. Okay? So pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to how often you're doing something. Pay attention to how much you're doing for somebody else without stopping and taking time for yourself. Okay? There is nothing at all good that comes from anything if you're trying to consistently pour from an empty place. Okay? I want you to think about this picture in your mind. That every time you pour into someone, pour into something, pour into an event, every time you do that, from your neck to your waist, there's a little hole. And as you continue to pour from a place where you have nothing to give, that hole gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then pretty much you're walking around with an invisible hole that nobody else can see, not even you, but you can feel it. And walking around with that hole that only you can feel is a place of loneliness and a place of emptiness. So take the time to take care of yourself. Take the time to preserve yourself. Take the time to keep replenishing your cup so that you're not going to have to pour from empty. Your job will be there tomorrow. Prayerfully, your family will be there tomorrow. Prayerfully, the things that you want to do, whether it's to make your life better or just to make somebody else's life better. It will be there after you have stopped and made the decision to replenish your soul, replenish your spirit, replenish you physically, replenish you mentally, replenish you emotionally, so that you do not have to pour from empty. I challenge you and I charge you to take time for yourself and stop pouring from an empty place. Fill yourself up. Fill yourself up. Fill yourself up. Replenish yourself. All right? God bless you. Take care. Be well. Remember, your future is forward. My future is forward. And together, our future is forward. Take care and don't pour from the empty. Take care.